Raj, can you say definitively whether or not the White House was involved in leaking these questions?
Well, I certainly hope not, and I don't have any reason to think that anybody affiliated with the president's legal team or the White House had any involvement whatsoever with the leaking of this information. In any event, this information, assuming that it is accurate, we don't necessarily know if it is accurate, but assuming that it is, demonstrates that the overwhelming majority of questions don't have to do with the reason for why the special counsel was formed in the first place, which is to investigate this question of collusion with the Russian government and the Trump campaign, for which there is no evidence. It's looking into other matters and other ideas. And, the president's tweet kind of hit the nail on the head. This investigation began from James Comey's own admission from his leak of memos that contained classified information, and now it's moving into realm and territory that has nothing to do with the underlying purpose, which is to look into this collusion issue.
Right, and does the White House have any idea who did leak this information?
I'm certainly not aware of anybody would have a motivation within the White House, or anybody would have an idea of why it would be prudent to leak this type of very confidential, very important information. Again, I don't know what was transmitted between the special counsel and the president's legal team. The president's legal team and the special counsel are the two bodies that can answer to that question. But this stuff being strewn out in the New York Times doesn't really add up and make a lot of sense. And, we hope that, the special counsel and the president's legal team operate with confidence and confidentiality, because this thing doesn't help anyone.
Right, and the New York Times article did say, it's pretty far down in the article, but it did say that the information was not given to them by a member of the Trump legal team. It said a person outside of the Trump legal team. So they seemed to try to clear that up, although didn't say who this source was that gave them this information. Raj, the president has said before that he's open to sitting down and talking to special counsel Robert Mueller, that he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't lie, so why not sit down with him? The president's legal team has advised him not to. They've been in negotiations, as you know, with the special counsel's team about what such an interview would look like. Does this leak and the content of the questions that were leaked, does that make it more or less likely that the president would sit down with Robert Mueller?
Well, I doubt that it makes it more likely. I certainly can't speak to whether it makes it less likely. That's something for the president's legal team, led by Jay Sekulow and Rudy Giuliani, to determine and work with the president and the special counsel on. But the president has said he's willing to talk to the special counsel because he wants to put this matter behind him. There have been dozens of witnesses interviewed, well over 1 million pages of documents reviewed, and not a shred of evidence that points to collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government that we can speak of.